let's hop into the Monday Night Football. Or, well, I guess it's Monday Night Football. It's the
It's Monday
only
Night
Monday
Football. It's
Night
fine to call
Football.
it that.
Yeah, I don't know why I called it that, but the college football playoff championship, Higgins.
A beautiful game. And Brett, you may have been right last episode when you told me that if I liked Alabama, I should have taken them on the spread because you said it looked like it was going to be moving, that the spread was going to boost more in Bama's favor. That's exactly what happened. The spread was at -7.5 for Bama, now -8.5. I don't know if I'm confident enough to be on the spread, so you're going to find me a few different ways on Alabama without necessarily betting them on the spread.
Okay, fair enough. Well, I'm gonna be not really on the other side, but kind of on the other side. I'm rooting for a close game, Higgins, an entertaining game. Uh, and I'm also rooting for the future quarterback of the New York Jets, Justin Fields. So I'm going to take OSU plus 8.5. And let's see if they can keep it within a touchdown. Keep it close.
And see, I really like that because I think this is going to be a shootout of a game. That's kind of why I was trying to wait to see if the Alabama line would get underneath a touchdown or get to the 7 and to the point where it could be a push if it was a touchdown win. Now, because I think it's going to be a shootout, that's why you're going to find me on the over in this game. 75.5. Now, that is a lot. Yes, it's a lot. But a 42-35 game, does that sound out of the cards for these guys? It really doesn't. I mean, these are very powerful, high octane offenses. Both sides have plenty of playmakers, and I think it's going to be just two offenses showcasing themselves off. And I don't know how much these defenses are going to be able to play a factor in this.
Yeah, I'm just not. 75.5 just is such a big number, Higgins. So I'm just not sure. But I think you're right. It's going to be high scoring. I'll tell you what, that number is going to be in play in the final minutes. And really going to come down to, does the team score or throw a pick, right? Like, that's what this is going to, it's going to be right on that number, or right around that number where a touchdown or a field goal puts you over or you're under, right?
Yeah, it's definitely gonna come down to the end, which will give me just more of a reason to make sure that I stick around to the end, whether it's a blowout or a close game. I think you're right. I think it's gonna be a close game. Some places I don't necessarily think it's going to be close, though, is between the two premier rushers. I'm going to talk about some of these prop bets that I'm going to be on, Brett, because I like a few of them. And most rushing yards, you have Trey Sermon versus Najee Harris. Trey Sermon's plus 130, a slight underdog to Najee Harris's minus 160. And you're going to find me on Najee Harris minus 160 because if you just look at the output of these two players, Trey Sermon, 868 yards on the season. Najee Harris, 1,387 yards. Now, I know Ohio State played less games than Alabama. They played 5 less games. That should be factored in when you're looking at these stats. However, you should also factor in that Trey Sermon had one game where he had over 300 yards. That's an outlier in his statistics. So as long as that doesn't happen again, Najee Harris's performance on average per game shows that he should be the likely favorite. So you're going to see me try to win a full unit back in this. So I'm going to bet 1.6 units on this minus 160 line to try to get a full unit back in return.
Yeah, Najee Harris has been incredible all year long. I totally agree, Higgins. But Trey Sermon's certainly been hot over the last 2 3 weeks here. So I think it's certainly within reason to see Trey Sermon, in the discussion here. But yeah, I think Najee Harris is the right choice between the two of them.
And just in case Najee Harris is maybe getting a few more receptions than rushes, and so he might lose that most rushing yards, I'm going to try to cover myself a little bit on the Najee Harris over under on total rushing and receiving yards. That's set at 149.5. And like I said in the Beginner's Boulevard, the opposite of reduced juice is boosted juice, which would be a minus 115 line. That's where this is at. So I'm going to take that. I'm going to take the over Najee Harris 149.5. I did this in the semifinals as well, and it burnt me. The hook burnt me. It was at 155.5. Najee Harris had 155 yards. So hopefully he beats the hook in this one, but I think that Najee Harris just out of the backfield, whether you hand the ball off to him or you have him running routes out of the backfield, the man is just too hard to stop at the collegiate level.
Well, there's one more Alabama rushing prop you like, Higgins.
Yes, there is, and that is a half unit is what I'm going to use for that. It's going to be a first touchdown. Now, this is just a hope and a prayer in a sense. It's Mac Jones plus 1,600 to be the first touchdown scorer. Now, this takes a few things into consideration. Since it's the first touchdown scorer and I have the over, I'm assuming that Alabama's going to get the ball first. If Ohio State gets the ball first, that already hurts my chances. Mac Jones also physically has to be the one that scores this touchdown, whether he runs the ball in or there's a trick play that Nick Saban runs that Mac Jones catches a touchdown pass somehow. I don't see that necessarily happening. Basically, what I'm rooting for is someone gets pushed out at basically the goal line, and they have a goal line scenario, and Mac Jones just follows his line in for the score, is what happens. But hey, I've hit on these before. The quarterbacks' first touchdowns, they can have some good value like this, and I like the plus 1,600 enough to sprinkle a little bit on there.
Well, Mac Jones, he has one rushing touchdown on the year, so it's not impossible.
Let's get a
It's
second, Mac.
happened.
Here we
It's
go.
happened. Yeah. So there you go. Plus 1,600. Best of luck to you, Higgins.
So there are 3 prop bets that I am on, 2 with Najee Harris, 1 on Mac Jones. That's how you know that I'm going to be rooting for Bama in this game, even though I'm not on the spread there. And I'm also on that over 75.5. Brett, the plus 8.5, I still do like that play, though. I think it's going to be a game within a touchdown. I really think Bama's going to win this game, so I can't find myself on that spread like you.
Fair enough. I'm with you. And you know what? I think the Najee Harris props were going to be fun for you. And I think you'll have a great night watching that over under because it's going to be a high scoring game. That's just a number I didn't want to sweat out, to be honest with you, Higgins. I was like, I know this thing's going to get up there, but like, man, 40 to 35 and this thing doesn't hit. Like, I was like, and that's a high scoring game.
Yeah, yes, it really is. Yes, it really is.